hello, folks. Welcome to Sty Times. Hey, looking for answers. That's our topic tonight. Looking for answers. Well, the first thing I'm looking for and looking at is my chat. I want to take a peek at who we got in the house. We've got some great folks over in the chat this evening. King Bluto came in first. And then Shiva B, that's Lori. Good to see you, girl. And Kathy Gahan, awesome. And Cinda Lou. Oh, it's so good to see you, Cinda Lou. Me Dibble, Dean, the dancing machine. Nimi Pun. Ben Kroll's in the chat. Great to see you folks. It's awesome. Yep, it for me, it's hard to believe it's Monday. It's really hard to believe it's Monday. There you go. There's a question that needs to be answered. What's an old retired guy like me do on a Monday? Well, not an awful lot on this Monday, other than go live at 5 p.m. That's what I do on a Monday. Looking for answers. Oh boy. I'll tell you what. Hey, Justin Anderson just popped in the chat. That's great to see you. Yeah, Nimi Pun says I became a regular one again. There's an answer to what's up with Nimi. I don't have to just wonder anymore. Nimi's back around. Yep. Shiva says this is crazy. What is crazy? What's crazy? Today's position we're in today, socially, boy, everybody's looking for answers. Why are things the way they are? Why is gas so high? Why the economy? Ben Kroll says, what isn't crazy anymore? There's something looking for that answer. Why is everything such craziness, you know? And it seems like everybody's got a reason. Everybody's got an answer. Seems to me when issues arise that I wish I had an answer to a question. The more answers I get, especially if they're unsolicited, unasked for, the less I'm actually listening or hearing. It's like I get overwhelmed with the answers. And you know more than mention a question and answers just come flying at you. Justin Anderson says, we need answers. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is we really need answers. We don't. And we need good, sound answers, not just hundreds and hundreds of opinions of what people think are the answers to things. And people surely think they know the answers. But if they truly know the answer, then why don't you hear that answer from everybody? Me Dibble says, when you think about crazy as normal and normal is crazy, everything's good. It's true. It's true. I had a fella at a mental hospital, right? They had a day yard where they could go out, they could hang out outside. They had tables and chairs out there, and they beautiful grassy areas to walk. This fellow walked over by the fence, and I happened to be standing out on the street. Well, it's fenced in because they're supposed to stay there. They're not supposed to leave. And this fella, I've just paid attention. I was sticking my nose in somebody else's business, basically. This fellow walked up to the fence, and this fell on the sidewalk where I was standing. I didn't know either one of these people, but this fellow walks over to that guy by the fence and says, "It's a good thing they've got a fence up." And that guy on the inside of that fence says, "Yep, I totally agree." He says to this fella out on the street, "You know why this fence is here, don't you?" And that guy says, "Yeah, to keep you in there, not out here with us." He goes, "You got it all backwards. We got this fence up to keep us safe from people like you." And he walked on. He got his answer, not the one he wanted to hear. Here this fella's in a mental institution, and he's locked up, caged up in there. But he goes through his day thinking the fence is there to keep him safe from us. Well, who are any of us to say that's not the right answer? He might be onto something. He might be onto something. So when it comes to looking for answers, all you got to do is ask the question, and there'll be a lot of people willing to give you answers. But you're going to get so many answers, it's going to be difficult to decide which answer you're willing to take and accept. Hey, Gemma's Journey Grace is out in the chat. It's great to see you today, sweetie. That's like sometimes when we're looking for answers, we got to stop and ask ourselves, do I really want the answer? Should I even be looking? That's like my aging process. I keep trying to look for answers as to why am I changing this way? Why is this happening, that happening? It's a waste of questions. It's just age. When you get old, you get old. Yeah. Yeah, me devil. He could be right. Yes. That fell on the other side of the fence. Oh, lawn dog, it's cold and windy where you are, eh? It's not too bad here right now. It's 32 degrees, right at freezing, Mark. And my son, Running Water, he went out and snowblowed today because we had a kind of like a ice. Well, it was an ice storm, and then we had this weird, it was sleeting and then snowing, but the snow was round pellets, just like hail, and we got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of it, and I figured I'd go out and shovel that stuff. Took 4 hours to snowblow this whole place in the last snowstorm, and Looking out there, I thought if I could snow blow it, it'd probably take an hour because it's not that much. Well, Running Water went out there this morning and he did the snow blowing. I was very happy about that because I fell getting in the truck the day before because of all the ice and busted up my elbow and my right arm so bad I can't straighten my arm out like that, straight out. I can't do that with the right arm. Got to keep it bent. Um, I wish I had a sling. And there's something I'm looking for answers for. Is what's best for that? There's two spots on my elbow, right in the joint. You got to kind of go into the joint, but there's two spots. If you push with the tip of your finger, holy God, does that hurt? Oh my gosh, does that hurt? So what's best for that? I'm looking for answers. I've tried everything. Heat, cold. I took ibuprofen because I figured, well, if it's swelling up in the joint, that'll pinch nerves. That didn't work. I tried, this lotion for pain, joint pain. That didn't work. Yeah. Did it ever happen to you when you think about someone you didn't see in a long time and then you see them that same day that you thought about them? That's a couple times throughout my life I've had that happen where I think of somebody and think, I wonder what they've been up to. I haven't talked to them in the longest time, and boom, run into them. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty odd. Um, oh wow, Lawn Dog's got some cherry tomatoes he can pick. He's hoping tomorrow a little more sunlight. He said. Oh, it's got a mix of the regular cherry and a red cherry and the yellow cherry tomatoes. Sounds good. Sounds good. I don't even know the name of them, but they're an awesome cherry tomato. And they're not super large, but they turn blood red almost. And it's so sweet. And then pear tomatoes that are yellow and pear shaped that are so sweet. Oh, I love them. Oh, Gemma, girl. Yeah, you don't, you shouldn't do that, girl. Thank you very much. You are so sweet. The Lawn Dog says, Sty, the thing I have with getting old is things start to hurt and I can't bend over so much anymore. Bending over, picking something up off the ground is kind of a chore. Yeah, I know where you're at. I know where you're at. And there you go. I keep looking for answers as to how do you live with it? How do you adjust so that you can do some of those things? And that's it. Yeah, me too. If I'm down on the ground, if I get down on all fours, I got to grab something to get back up. It's a bummer sometimes getting back up. And it's nuts. Yeah, cherry tomatoes. I like to grow cherry tomatoes. I don't need to grow a lot of them, but one good tomato plant of each variety so that when I'm out in the yard working, I can just go pick handfuls, put them, throw them in my pocket, and I eat them as snacks while I'm out and about in the yard. Um, oh, you do just fine. Nimmy Pun's concerned about his English isn't on top of things. I haven't found anything I couldn't read there, Nimmy. Yeah, Gemma, you're just yeah. That is a treat. That is a treat. Thank you. Um, that Nimmy says he's 21. He can barely get up when he bends down. That's you know. Lawn Dog says he's only 61, so I shouldn't be in such bad shape. Um, but my years in construction are starting to add up. It's my understanding farmers have the worst wear and tear on their bodies. That's the thing is, what have you done over the years to your body? I've got an acquaintance that is 78 years old and he's still alive and kicking. And boy, talk about kicking. He runs every day. And he runs, I don't even know how many miles, but you'll see him anywhere and everywhere around town. And from one end of town to the other is about 4 miles. And you'll see him on both ends of town, all different times of the day. And he runs. He said he's not concerned about the miles, it's how much time. And he runs for 5 hours a day, every day. And he's almost 80 years old. And he looks rough. But he had an easy lifestyle, not a lot of hard labor and stuff like that. And now he's aged. And so he's able to do that. That's the answer. Looking for answers. Why am I in such rough shape? Well, it's because of my life. I mean, the things that I went through in my life. Jim is always looking for answers about how she can improve autism awareness. That's it. We're always looking for answers, aren't we? And hey, Dutch Prepper's in the chat. Great to see you out there, Dutch Prepper. Yep. Be prepared. Kathy God says, sometimes hard to get up. Yeah. Yeah, lawn dog pulling wire. That's not fun. I've helped contractors do that. That's not fun. It's hard work. Yeah, me devil. I don't think I've ever ran 5 hours in my life, and this guy does it every day. It's crazy. Go. Why are you standing there? That's all you ever hear, and I was glad to get out of it. A lot of work. Yeah. Yep. Now is the time to prep. Yeah, answers about why you are the way you are. And then, like Gemma says, but she knows I was made to be this way. It's my fate. That's what I am, who I am. I am who I am. And do I really need answers to that? Oh, yeah, Nemi Pun. Are there things that I have questioned through my life that I still don't have answers to? Oh, there's plenty of things. I think a lot of us that's why I was saying sometimes we're looking for answers, but we haven't asked ourselves, should I even look? You know, my divorce is one. I've been divorced for 6 years now, a little over 6 years. I still don't know why. I really don't understand why we got divorced. Um, I didn't feel the need to be divorced. I didn't want a divorce, but my ex-wife did. And I did ask her, what's the reasoning? You know, she's not given me one actually yet. She gave me what I call a justification for her wanting a divorce, and I was willing to accept it, but it was never a real answer. Uh, um, One dog saying, Sty, in your opinion, do you really think people are going to go back to work? I mean, the perception is that many people are not working. I'm not so sure that's true. What are your thoughts? Um, you know, that's a good question that I'm still looking for answers to is why don't people want to work? Um, okay, so they gave them that extra unemployment, right? So they were getting their unemployment plus the extra money on top of it through this whole virus thing for a year and a half. And they're insistent that what it did was it taught people to not work. Okay, so they took that extra unemployment away. Plus, unemployment is running out for some people. But yet they're not going back to work. I'd like an answer as to why aren't they going back to work? What's going on? Because they're hiring, man. I've told people I'd love to be in my early 20s right now because I could pick almost any job I want. Everybody in our town is hiring people. And they're paying well. They're paying well. Entry-level positions at 18, 19, 20 bucks an hour. Yeah, over here too is, they lifted all the mandates and nobody's wearing masks anymore. You see a few here and there. That's their personal choice, but there's no mandates or nothing. And I thought things would kind of normalize. But talking to some of the business owners in town, they're saying they can't find anybody to work for them. The lawn dog says, yeah, some people found a way to work at home. I understand there's a lot of people who found another way to make money and earn an income by working at home. Yeah, and now that concerns me because there's such a variety of different types of work out there, but there's a huge portion of our society that has to be actual product creators. Yeah, D&D and the dancing machine. Good comment. Good comment. Blue collar jobs not being filled. That seems to be that niche of workers that those people aren't going back to work. Um, And it's the blue collar worker that really is more involved in the productive type positions. People that sit at a computer all day, click, 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 or on the phone all day, they're not actually creating a product. Most of them. Now, some of them, they are. That's a process of the product. But a lot of those jobs don't produce an actual product. It's the jobs where they're in production that aren't being filled. No tradesmen. That's, yeah, I wish I knew what the answer was to that. Because I came from an era that, boy, you look for jobs. Yeah. Blue collar workers are those folks that don't work in office type settings, and they're hard laborers. They do more hard physical type labor. Doesn't mean they work in, work is work, but yeah, they're physical laborers. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you really make. Yeah, so it's labor work, I mean, it could be somebody that cleans hotel rooms. They're a blue collar worker. But so is someone that's out there with a shovel digging a ditch. They're blue collar worker. Yeah. As long as there's labor, it's a labor type job. Another area that I'm always looking for answers is when they pass new laws all the time. There's so many laws about everything now. Hey, you got to have a rule about this, a law about that, and those types of things. And why do we need more laws? Why do we need more laws? We got so many now. My own attorney said, with all the laws in the world we have now, the majority of them never get applied at all because you just can't keep track of it all. It's gotten almost insane. So where's the answer to that? Is there some way to bring that under control? What's the answer to them passing a law every time somebody does something a little different? But really, and so many of our laws have nothing to do with hurting anybody. I don't think we need a law that has anything to do without actually hurting somebody. Lawn Dog says, Sty, care to make a prediction about gas prices? Again, your viewpoint on the world and your perspective could be interesting. We're approaching $5.85 a gallon commonly here in my area of California. I just saw news before the show tonight, hit $7 in a couple locations. Let's talk about that right after our short little break. That's interesting. This little break only takes 50 seconds, so don't go anywhere because we're just showing off the channel members, and we'll be right back. We're going to talk about those gas prices. We're all looking for answers for that, too. So I'll see you in less than a minute. Hang tight, guys. Yeah, we were talking about gas prices and answers to that, and all you gotta do is watch any of the news outlets and their discussions and stuff. Seems like the most common one is the answer to our gas prices is we pump more of our own oil, and I get that and I totally understand it, and I generally agree. Oh my gosh, grilling and chilling with Mojo. Mojo, don't you and Gemma today? You don't have to do that, my brother. You're amazing. You're amazing. Your calzone. Again, it almost killed me watching that. Oh God, it looks so good. Oh yeah, yeah. If you're not following grilling and chilling with Mojo, you need to. Um, the well, that's it, Londo. I'm all for electric vehicles, but I don't believe they're the answer. You have to generate power in order to be mobile. Okay, if you're going to use electric versus gasoline, right? You still need a fuel source to produce that electricity. So they're either going to have to increase nuclear power plants throughout the nation or coal fired or natural gas fired or biofuel fired power plants. They're not answering the carbon footprint by going electric. The science is there, and I hate that. I mean, there we go again. I'm tired of people saying, well, the science says, and the science says, and then you find out that's not what the science is saying. Um, yeah, yeah. The We've got plenty of gas and oil reserves here, and if we were allowed to drill and pump, well, we were energy independent. This administration put us back to being dependent. And what I don't like is you look at the sources we're dependent to, and they're not good people. They're not good people. The Yeah, Dean, they need to open the Keystone Pipeline. They absolutely do. Um, oh yeah, Gemma, you're not lazy because you work at home. That's for sure. That's for sure. And that's one thing I don't want anybody to get me on the, take me wrong on that. People that aren't laborers and they work at home, they're on the computer or whatever they do, even novelists, people that write books. It's hard work. It's hard work. It's just a different class of work than others. And and yeah, I don't want anybody to get me wrong there. Nimmy Pun says I have an answer to that. We should fly on brooms. Brooms cost $2 and uses no fuel. the the Yeah, ethanol doesn't burn as efficient. Yeah, and I have an issue with that. They said ethanol was going to be our answer to our fuel crisis back years ago, and it's not because it created a new problem. So I was looking for answers to my question then was, so does all of our corn production go to making fuel? They said that in order to make everything run on just alcohol, there'd be no corn for us to purchase for food items. So we could starve ourselves to death running around on corn alcohol. So it's, yeah. Um, That's right. All those different green methods, lawn dog, aren't the answer to everything because they don't work everywhere. You're absolutely right. Yeah, lithium batteries too. Oh man, they're awesome. Keep them warm. You gotta keep them warm. The Grilling and Chilling with Mojo says in the town I work, they're going electric fence. Your work trucks, Dean says his work trucks run on propane. I had a work truck that ran on propane. Um, got rid of it. Got rid of it. They don't run as efficient as a fossil fuel, as gasoline. Um, yeah, yeah. Some things, like I said, some things I don't know that we really want the answers to. Um, but people ask the question and then they give you an answer that they presume you want to hear. And that's the hardest part is when you're looking for answers. Like I said, you get hundreds and hundreds of answers. Which ones are good, sound answers? You know? What did you see? What? Yeah, electricity. Um, right now, we are so electric dependent, not as a country, as individual people, we become so electric dependent. Running Water and I talked about it, about everything in our house here that runs on electric. If you took everything that needed electricity out of the house, this house would be darn near empty. Well, that's maybe that's different. You can't get plates for a vehicle where he's at if it runs on something other than gas. Yeah, lawn dog. People, that's one thing a lot of people say, and I hear it from a lot of preppers, and that's where some preppers and I just have to agree to disagree. If you had a crash and the power was out, supply lines stopped. They're scared to death. All those people from the cities are going to come running out to the country to rob everybody of their resources. No, they're going to stay in those cities and they're going to kill each other for what resources they can get their pinkies on. Out in the country, them city folk scares the heck out of them. No. That, like Lawn Dog said, they're going to starve themselves out. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, they want us to use different fuels, and the conversion costs are so prohibitive that you just can't do it. I couldn't afford an electric vehicle. No way in heck. And for me, an electric vehicle for running around town would be practical. But when I'm going camping and I'm putting on 300-400 miles on a trip where I'm going doesn't have anywhere to charge a car, I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. I wouldn't be nearly as mobile as I am today. The, yeah, lawn dog. That's what I was saying. Crazies, they're not going to come out here in the country. No, no. If you want to control society, it's through electricity. And if you get into a war situation, you take out their electricity. Power supply has always been, even back in World War One, there were specific wartime campaigns to take out power sources for each opposing country, um, because power is what makes the world turn. All forms of power: gas, oil, coal, electricity. Get rid of that and water supplies. Yeah. Yeah, people don't know how to grow things, and they don't have ways to keep things. People nowadays live day to day, week to week. They don't have foodstuffs that they can prepare, that they can store, that'll last them for months. They just depend on their refrigerators and floor freezers. Yeah. So, and that's it. That's it too. So many people tell me the answer to it is have a lot of good seeds, heirloom seeds, saved up in case something like that happened. There's the answer. Well, it's not the answer. It could, if things went down and you had no way to get food and you didn't have a good supply of food, and that happened in November, you're looking at 7, 8 months before you're actually eating any volume of food again. If that's what you're depending on growing it, if you're going to grow it, yeah, it's just, yeah, I've got a good Jenny too, lawn dog. I got a really good one. It's enough that I can fire it up and I can run the fridge, freezer, microwave, all the lights in the house, and low wattage television or radio, all that stuff. But again, it needs fuel to run. Yeah, Kathy said I'm one that'd be starving. I'd go out looking. Yeah, yeah. Dean says to make a Stymobile powered by steam and a small campfire in the trunk. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I was lucky when I got my generator. They were selling like hotcakes. It was right at the time when they had that big freeze down there in Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma area. You couldn't find generators at all, big or small. But I managed to find mine. I had to drive. I had to go for a 2-hour drive to get it. But oh, he's in an apartment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My Jenny. It's only a 35, 3,500, and it runs everything in the house that we use without a problem. A lot of people, they go way too big, way too big. Dean says natural gas generators work well. But do you have access to natural gas if the supply line gets shut down? No. That's one of the deals is where do you get your fuel from? I had a multi-generator prior to the one I have now, was a multi-fuel propane and gasoline. So it all depended on what. And that was my answer because it was more convenient for me to go get 20-pound cylinders of propane. I'd haul 4 in, bring 4 fulls back out to the place where I lived, and to swap them out only takes a second. No fueling, no 5-gallon cans full of gasoline sitting around. Yep, Nemi, that's my generator holds 2.5 gallons of gasoline, and I get 18 to 20 hours of generation time off of that generator. You just have to keep adding fuel. Yeah, propane doesn't go bad if it's stored for a long time compared to gasoline. Yep. Cindy Lou's asked how many people have bug out bags. She has 2. I could live for 5 months myself, and I have a 50-liter backpack with food and shelter. Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3 that I would consider bug out bags that would keep me on my feet for a considerable amount of time. I'm prepped where I could feed myself for 6 months without a problem, running water and I together. And if we ration, don't overeat, we could last about 4 months, the 2 of us. Solar panels. Again, solar panels are limited to how much sun you get. Yeah. In our region, only a few people are using solar because it's all timber up here. It's all trees. It's all timber. To find a nice open piece of land that's got a good prolonged period of sunshine, plus our weather patterns are such that we can have long periods without sun. You might go 3 weeks without any true sunlight, and the little bit of ambient light you get isn't going to provide enough of energy. Yeah. And there you go, me devil, a diesel-fueled generator, and you can modify them and run cooking oil on them. A buddy of mine has a Volkswagen car with a diesel engine, and he runs it around on cooking oil. He doesn't buy fuel. He gets the cooking oil free from Burger King, McDonald's, and he's got 5 restaurants that he goes and collects their waste cooking oil, runs it through a filter, and puts it in his car. And he's driving that car around. He's been doing that for 5 years now. And he never puts gas station fuel in there at all. It's all cooking oil. But he's the first to admit, if the grid shut down, your fuel source goes away. Where are you going to get all that cooking oil that you need to run, right? The geothermal, if you can utilize geothermal, that is sweet because that's totally free once your cost of tapping in, you got that to consider. But once you have a geothermal system going, it costs you nothing. Nimi says, looks like the only solution we have is to just die. The Kathy, yep, gonna die. I don't Lawn Dog's talking about the dual fuel generators. An empty tank at Home Depot is $60, and then you have to fill it. Here they're getting, depending on where you're buying them, I can get empty tanks at Tractor Supply right now, brand new empty tanks. They've got them for $38, $38, and then right now it's going to cost you about $20 to fill one. It's going to go up though. Geothermal here in Desert Empire. The problem is there isn't much. Well, see, that's it. Again, geothermal. That's why I said if you have access to it. There's a lot of places in the world you don't. You don't. There are things you can do with geothermal. We built 20 homes, single-family homes, with geothermal heating systems in them. And you dig a big pit, you fill it full of water tanks, backfill it full of gravel, then dirt on top of it. Got to get it down below a certain level in the ground. And they're actually pulling the temperature out of the ground to preheat your house. They're getting 50 degrees off of that geothermal pit. That's 50 degrees. The furnace doesn't have to heat up the outside cold air to produce the full heat. It starts at 50 degrees already, so it's preheated. So it reduces the burden on your furnace, and you don't burn as much heating fuel. Same in the summer. It's a pre-cooler because it's at 50 degrees for your air conditioning system. They work pretty good too, those 20 homes. The cost of those 20 homes were reduced by about 28% because of those geothermal systems we put in. Hot mineral springs coming up out of the ground, and in certain spas you can get natural geothermal water to heat your jacuzzi in certain hotels. Yeah, I've stayed in some throughout the country that have geothermal spas. Yeah, mineral ponds. And yeah, the Lawn Dog said there's a moratorium on drilling, and it's been in effect for 30 years. So the hotels built in the 60s, 70s have the original geothermal water source. Yeah. Yep. The Get Her Done Granny says, I'll never get rid of. It's great to see you, by the way. Get Her Done Granny's out there in the chat. Says never get rid of the wood stove. I can do a lot with it. Cook, stay warm, make jerky, heat water. You betcha. I love the wood stove. Oh, I love the wood stove. I love Get Her Done Granny. She's really going to town cleaning up her yard and everything. It's spring work for her right now. She hauled a big load of stuff to the dump. The She says, "I've been watching. I've been watching." Uh, Me too, by the way, Granny. I've been watching. Yeah, you hauling that load out to the dump. And yeah, the well, filling that load. That's quite a load. Yeah. The oh, Lori Shiva was asking about bug out bags, and yeah, you pack it with food, drinks, emergency stuff. Yeah. Oh, wow, dog. Yeah, it's get her done. Damn free renters. Yeah, that's it, Nemi. That's it. Um, wood, if you're anywhere near an area where you can get wood, if we could, I'd have a wood stove here in our house. We just don't. The house isn't really designed for it right now. We could put a outdoor wood boiler and heat the house, but that's a big investment. Uh, the messed up words always fit into the English language. Yeah, yeah. Where's the answer to that? I'm looking for answers. Why can't spell check spell? Why can't word to text understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Me Dibble's got to go. You have a good one, Me Dibble. I'll see you. I hope I'll see you Wednesday for Sty Times. Yeah. That's just a day away. Tomorrow's my YouTube day off, and I'm hoping I can do something with his arm, fix his arm tomorrow. I got work I want to do, and I got to straighten that arm out. Yeah. Instead of okie dokie, it said okay donkey. Yeah. um, yeah, no, my machine ain't so good. I don't even remember which it was. The process, the software I had when I was during my career. I don't remember which one it was, but it was kind of like Word. But it would rate my documents on grade level of understanding and correct your grammar and spell checking. It was awesome. It worked awesome. But for doing letter structure and things like that, it was real quirky. But boy, oh boy, its grammar and spell check was awesome. And the reading level, you type a letter, and if it says the reading level is for like someone in the 11th, like a junior or a senior in high school, and you're writing a letter to a bunch of dummies, you want to downscale it to sixth grade so they understand what you're saying. Yeah, it was nice. That was my answer to writing. The, okay, guys, it's that time. Time to wrap it up for the day. Um, we talked about all kinds of things. We're looking for answers, but as usual, it's hard to find. Finding the answers. Looking is easy. Just ask the question, you get 100 answers. But looking for the actual answer, the one that you really need, can be a lot of effort. Can be a lot of effort. So keep looking for your answers in life. And in the meantime, take good care of yourselves. Sty loves you all. And we'll see you in the next show Wednesday evening, 5 p.m. You watch this exit and you'll see what the topic is. And I'll see you Wednesday evening, guys. Bye bye.